I was so wrong about the Jeep Gladiator Mojave. Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to Robotive JT. That's right, I was so wrong about the Jeep Gladiator Mojave. Upper trim level vehicles in general. You know, before I got the Mojave, and one of the reasons I hadn't gotten it earlier is because of the YouTube channel, because of you guys. You know, I thought, what am I gonna do with the Jeep Gladiator Mojave? You know, it's like a finished truck. It's like the top of the line, almost, arguably. So I thought, you know, I can't get a Jeep Gladiator Mojave. If I do that, what am I gonna do with it? You know, there aren't a lot of mods or anything you can install. It's really finished. But I was so wrong about that. Since I've had the truck, I've been doing a lot of research, looking at things that I can do with it. And I've discovered, you know, there are as many things that I can do with that truck as I could do with the Sport S that I had, a much lower trim level. You know, you can do front bumpers, you can do rear bumpers, you can do lighting. I'm considering putting a sport bar on it because frankly, I've seen a few driving around that have them and I think they look really good on the truck. So in doing that, it enables me to do even more mods to it. I could find out, check and see if I can put a tonneau cover on it, because a lot of questions on the channels, particularly the Tacoma channel, since I have a sport bar, about whether or not you can add a tonneau cover. You can, but it kind of limits the functionality of the tonneau cover and which one that you can have. As far as lighting goes, there are tons of lighting options that I can do. You know, I should have realized when my buddy Randall was coming over and adding things to his that I was wrong about the Jeep Gladiator Mojave anyway. I can add front lights to the bumper, which I already have. I've already got a solution for what I'm going to do with the bumper on the front of the truck. Matter of fact, I already have the bumper. So we're going to add some lights to that. The sport bar, as I mentioned, that enables me to do a few different things. I can add some front-facing lights. I can add some rear-facing lights, which would be really handy to have if you're an off-roader or maybe just backing up at night. You know, obviously you're not going to use them when you're driving down the road because you really don't want to blind the people behind you. But they would come in very handy if you need to see what's behind you. An LED bar. I can add an LED light bar on the front of the sport bar itself, really light up the front area, or I could put one on the back, as I mentioned, to really light up the back area as well as the bed itself. Now, is that absolutely necessary? Probably not for the bed. I mean, we do have LED lights in the bed. They're perfectly fine, and I do think they light it up enough back there that you're not really ever going to have a problem seeing. But still, it's a fun project and something fun to do. Wheels and tires. If you watch the channel, then you know I've already changed out the wheels and tires. Something that I didn't think I'd do if I had a Jeep Gladiator Mojave, because they come, at least the one I have, came with the black Jeep wheels, if you will. But I wanted something more aggressive and I wanted a different tire on it. It came with the Falcon Wild Peak MTs, the mud terrains, but frankly, they're just too aggressive for the road in my opinion. They're just not comfortable. You don't get as good a ride quality out of them as you do with the Falcon Wild Peak AT3Ws. My favorite tire of all time, by the way, which of course is on the Jeep Gladiator Mojave right now. The other reason that I did that, I wanted offset. I wanted to have the tires stick out a little bit from the wheel well. I've achieved that, and along with the lift on the Mojave, I think it's the perfect setup for me. Speaking of lifts, that's one area that really, if you're buying a Jeep Gladiator Mojave, you probably shouldn't mess with. And I say that not because you can't, but because it already comes with a lift. Now, we're not talking about something huge. I mean, it's what, I believe it's an inch lift, inch and a half, whatever. I always forget what the height of it is. But it's already set up that way. You've already paid for it. It has the Fox shocks on the front. Why would you change that out since you've paid for it? And the Fox setup is not a cheap setup. I would say that if you are planning to lift it higher than it comes stock, maybe so you can put some of those gigantic 35s or 37s, I should say, on tires I'm talking about, then maybe you wouldn't want to buy a Jeep Gladiator Mojave. You'd probably be better off to buy a Sport S, something like that, and then slap some Mojave stickers on the side of the hood. That would be a lot cheaper, a lot more cost efficient. Otherwise, that's probably the only thing I can think of. The top is another example. Of course, it comes with the hard top. Mine did. I'm not sure if you can get the Mojave in a soft top or not. Again, mine did come with the soft top. I would change that out. Mine did come with the hard top. I wanted something that was easier to manipulate. You know, there's nothing wrong with the hard top, and if you don't mind screwing around with the Freedom panels, then it's not a big deal. For me, I didn't want the Freedom panels. I just didn't want to have to screw with them. They're bulky, they take up a lot of room, and I also discovered that they're rather fragile. I had some in storage from my Sport S because I had the Sunrider soft top on it, which I did transfer to the Mojave. There is a video on the channel about that. But I discovered that mine had a chip in it. And of course, underneath that black finish, it's white. And it was just a glaring chip, even though it was just on the edge of the passenger side. I did paint it, but in the end, I really didn't like it. I wasn't going to keep them on there anyway, so it wasn't a real big deal for me. I suppose if I ever trade that truck off, then I'll put those hardtop panels back on, the Freedom panels, and trade them off, and no one will probably ever notice. Until that second buyer gets it and is washing it or something, then you probably would. Other things you can do, simple cosmetic things, stickers, decals, window tint, of course in the bed, and I would highly recommend some sort of a bed mat if you don't have any kind of a spray-in liner in it, which is another thing you can do, by the way. You can put a spray-in bed liner in it to get a little bit more traction, to try to keep things from rolling around all over the place back there. I prefer the bed mat myself. I just think it gives you a little bit more holding power. The tail lights, the headlights, I mean, on and on, unless you've gone with the LEDs. Mine doesn't have the LEDs, so I'll be changing those out as well. Anyway, those are just a few reasons why I was so wrong about the Jeep Gladiator Mojave. There are a ton of things that you can do to it. There are a ton of things that I'm going to do to it. Anyway, leave a comment. Let me know. Ever bought a lower level truck because you wanted to do more mods to it and you didn't think you could do it on maybe an upper level? I'd be curious to know. Also, real quick, I do have 2 additional channels. Rob Motive, all about Toyota Tacomas, and Rob Motive MT, all about mini trucks, currently the Hyundai Santa Cruz. Check them out, and if you're interested, why not subscribe? Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. Bye.